Hello, and welcome to the Crafters Northwest channel. I'm always glad to have you here. Welcome in. If you are new here, I am Michelle, your crafting consultant. You can find all of the products that I use today linked in the description below or on my website at www.craftersnorthwest.com. I'd also appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done that yet and you enjoy your time with me today, click that box and subscribe. If you ring the bell, you'll get notified every time I go live or put up a video. Thank you so much, and I hope you find inspiration in today's video. Hello friends, Michelle here with Crafters Northwest, and I have a video today for you for a technique for the new at SU blog hop. This month's hop is embossing techniques. So I'm going to show you how to get this look with your embossing folder and some inks. Let's look at what we need. We need our embossing folder. Layered Florals 3D embossing folder is what we are using today. We need a sentiment, and so we are using Sentimental Park for thanks. We need a couple of dies. These are both from Greetings of the Season dies. Some foam tape, some liquid glue, although you could use a tape runner of some sort. We are using some pink baker's twine from the 3-color pack. We are using some watercolor paper. I have all of the pieces pre-cut and also using crumb cake. And these are the colors that we are using today: Pretty in Pink, Summer Splash, Crushed Curry, Copper Clay, and Basic Gray. You will also need a paintbrush or a water brush. I find I don't have quite enough control with the water in these for this specific technique, so I'm going to use just a regular paintbrush. And then I am also going to bring in a few blocks to help me with this. To make sure I can clean off my block, I do have, my blocks and my paintbrush, I do have a chamois, and I will be using that quite a bit. Of course, you also need an embossing machine, and I will be using the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So, step 1 is embossing. So let's do that first. And just like that, all of our embossing is now done. Let's go ahead and do our stamping. So that is done and out of the way. And we're just stamping thanks in Basic Gray. Okay, so we are going to do our light colors first, and bring in my cups of water. Not that you guys need to see them per se, but I wanted to have them so you could. Alright, I do have my chamois open over here on my left. You can squeeze and put your ink on the lid. I like to use my blocks. So I'm just going to ink that up just a smidge and close up my ink pad. I am going to put a few drops of water on my block, and I'm going to make sure my brush is clean. So I'm going to have a dirty water and a clean water, and that will make sense as to why here in just a bit. So we are going to color the large flowers pink, the smaller daisy-like flowers yellow, and we're going to wet a leaf, and we're going to not do ones that are touching a lot. If they're touching a little bit, that's okay. We're going to mix our ink and our water, and then we're just going to rinse our brush, and we're going to come back in and add some water because that dried up super fast. All right, pick up some ink, and we're going to touch that at the base of our flower where we have our water. And that will wick a little bit. Okay, and we're going to repeat that process. You probably only want to do 1 or 2 petals at a time because the paper tends to dry up pretty quickly. Okay, so we have our first layer of pink done. So we're going to clean off our brush. We're not going to clean off this pink color because we are going to come back to it. I am just going to set it off to the side. All right. Next up, crushed curry. And we are going to use the larger block, but we're just going to use a corner of it. And I think that should be enough. We shall see. And again, we are going to go back and forth between panels. So I'm going to not color the center of the flower, but I do want to have each petal completely covered in water. I want to make sure to get enough water on here to begin with, so we don't have to waste any of this color in getting new water. So I'm just touching once at the base of each of these petals. Okay. Now we are going to repeat the process with our summer splash. And again, just going to use a corner on our block. Okay, next we are going to come in with our basic gray. And we're going to do the flowers, the leaves for our larger flowers. Okay, so we're going to come back in and add water on these petals again. Grab some more ink. There's not a whole lot on here anymore. We're just going to go in at the base and add a little bit more color on each one. Okay. Bring our yellow back in, and there is a lot on there still. So now, depending on what your yellow flowers look like, you might want to just do a wash of just water, and that will spread the color a little bit. Or you can do kind of a combination of the water and color. Okay. And we are almost done with our coloring. Oh, my finger. Goodness. Now, if you have the glass mat, you could do this on that instead of on the blocks, and it would work the same. Okay. Now, because there is some wet on here still, let's go ahead and help this dry a little bit with our heat tool. And our last color is copper clay. And we don't need very much of this at all. And we're going to do this kind of in a 2 different steps a little bit here. I grab some of our color. And we're going to do some fine painting of the stamen that are embossed. Okay. So then this is the easiest 2 steps out of it all. Okay. We're going to come in with our water and we are going to add water to the centers of all of our yellow flowers. Grab up our color and then just come back through . Okay. You can either let these dry or you can make them dry. So let's go ahead and make them dry. So now our paper clearly is warped. So you can either kind of bend it like this, or you could flip it over and do a spritz of water on it, or a few spritz, and then dry it from the backside. Okay, so let's finish our card really quick, shall we? Make sure there's no water. Okay. And then the front side. You can see that all that embossing, which you can't always see so well on the front. I'm going to do this at the top. I'm going to flip that over and give it a burnish from the inside. That way I don't happen to transfer any color and I don't flatten anything too terribly much. Alright, so we have our arrow piece. We're going to put this kind of like that right there. I'm going to try to make sure that's flat. Let that dry for a few minutes. We are going to tie our ribbon, or our baker's twine, real quick. We're going to have 2 pieces. We're going to have one piece that's maybe 2 inches. And then the other one we're going to tie on the spool. We're going to just do a bow. We're not going to do the knot that you would normally do. And before you get it pulled tight all the way, on that back side, we're going to slip our little piece through here. Okay. And then we'll pull this tight, and then we will adjust our loops, making sure to press in that center. Okay. And then trim. And then you want to grab those two pieces that we strung through the back, and now you can see you have a beautiful bow, but then you also have a way to attach it that isn't glue dots. I don't know about you, but me and glue dots and bows don't get along terribly well. So we're going to do that, and then we're just going to use a piece of washi tape or scotch tape on the back side. This is just going to be a temporary hold. Just like that. And then we are going to put our dimensionals on the back side. Okay. Our last few steps, we're going to line up the edge of our sentiment piece with the edge of our piece that we just did all of our work on. We're going to trim off. We're going to trim off that top piece, and then if you want, you can trim your baker twine pieces, and if not, you can just leave them be. And just like that, we have a beautiful embossed faux watercolor card. Thank you guys all so much for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you enjoy everybody's project throughout the hop, and make sure to leave comments for myself and everybody else in the hop as well. I hope you get some great ideas, and let me know what you guys do. Thanks. Talk to you guys next time.